You are standing on the ground right now. Maybe it is concrete. Maybe it is wood. Maybe it is tile. But it is solid. You trust it. You have trusted it your entire life. Every step you have ever taken has ended with something pushing back. The earth beneath your feet does not give way. It holds you. This is not a small thing. This is the foundation of your entire existence. You were born on solid ground. You learned to walk on solid ground. Every memory you have ever made happened on a surface that said, "Stop here. Go no further. This is the bottom." But what if there was no bottom? What if you fell and fell and fell, and there was never anything to catch you? Saturn is a world with no ground. It looks like a planet. It sits in space, like a planet. It has rings and moons and gravity strong enough to hold an atmosphere thicker than anything you have ever known. But if you tried to land on Saturn, if you aimed a spacecraft straight down and fired your engines toward what looks like a surface, you would fall through, and you would keep falling. Forever. There is no place to land. No ocean floor to hit. No rocky core to slam into. Just gas becoming denser and denser and hotter, until you are crushed and melted and vaporized into nothing. You would not even know when you stopped being you and started being part of Saturn itself. This is not science fiction. This is Saturn, the second largest planet in our solar system, a ball of gas 95 times more massive than Earth, spinning in the cold dark, and it has no surface at all. Right now, as you sit here, there is a world out there where the ground does not exist, and we need to talk about what that actually means. Let us start with what Saturn looks like from far away. From Earth, through a telescope, Saturn is beautiful. It is golden. It is calm. Those rings stretch out like something painted by an artist who understood symmetry. You could look at Saturn for hours and never feel afraid. It looks like a place. It looks like something you could visit. But you cannot visit Saturn. You can only fall into it. Here is what would happen if you tried. Imagine you are in a spacecraft, dropping towards Saturn's equator. At first, everything is normal. You are still in space. Below you, the planet stretches out like a canvas of pale gold and soft brown bands. The rings are edge-on now, impossibly thin, slicing across your view. You are still high enough that Saturn looks like a photograph. Beautiful, distant, safe, but you keep falling. At an altitude of about 1,000 kilometers above what scientists call the surface, which is really just the point where the atmosphere becomes too thick to see through, you start to notice the wind. Saturn's winds are the fastest in the solar system. At the equator, they scream eastward at over 1,800 kilometers per hour. That is 5 times faster than the worst hurricane ever recorded on Earth. The entire atmosphere is a jet stream with no ground to slow it down. You are not on solid ground yet because there is no solid ground. But the air is getting thicker. You drop lower. The sunlight is fading now. Not because the sun has set, but because the atmosphere is so deep that the light cannot reach you anymore. The pressure around your spacecraft is increasing. 1 atmosphere. 2 atmospheres. 10. The same pressure that would crush a submarine on Earth is now just the beginning. You are falling through hydrogen and helium. That is all Saturn is. 96% hydrogen, 3% helium, and trace amounts of methane and ammonia. No rock, no metal surface waiting below. Just gas compressed by its own weight into something denser than gas has any right to be. You keep falling. At a depth of about 1,000 kilometers below the visible cloud tops, the pressure is now 1 million times stronger than the air pressure at sea level on Earth. The hydrogen around you is no longer a gas. It is a liquid. But not like water. This is liquid metallic hydrogen. Hydrogen squeezed so hard that it behaves like a metal. It conducts electricity. It flows. It generates Saturn's magnetic field. And you are falling through it. Your spacecraft is gone now. Nothing we have ever built could survive this. The heat is over 6,000 degrees Celsius. The pressure is crushing atoms into configurations they were never meant to hold. You are not in space anymore. You are not in an atmosphere anymore. You are inside a star that never ignited, falling through an ocean of liquid metal that has no bottom. How deep does this go? No one knows exactly. But scientists estimate that Saturn's liquid metallic hydrogen layer extends down at least 30,000 kilometers. For comparison, the distance from the surface of the Earth to its core is only 6,300 kilometers. You could fit 5 Earths stacked on top of each other inside Saturn's hydrogen ocean, and you still would not reach the center. And here is the part that makes your brain stop working. There might not even be a core. Some models suggest Saturn has a small, rocky core, maybe 10 to 20 times the mass of Earth, buried at the center of all that pressure. But other models say no. Other models say the pressure is so extreme that any core that once existed has dissolved into the metallic hydrogen around it. The rock and ice that formed Saturn 4.5 billion years ago may have melted into the planet itself, mixed into a gradient so smooth that there is no boundary, no edge, no place where you could say, this is where Saturn ends. You would fall for hours, then days, then weeks. The pressure would climb into the tens of millions of atmospheres. The temperature would exceed the surface of the Sunday, and you would never hit anything. You would just become denser and denser until the atoms that used to be you were indistinguishable from the atoms that have always been Saturn. There is no ground. There has never been ground. There will never be ground. Saturn is a planet where the concept of landing does not exist. Think about that. We have a word for it, planet. We imagine it like Earth, like Mars, like something with a surface you could stand on. But Saturn is not like that. Saturn is a hollow scream of gas, held together by gravity, spinning alone in the dark. And if you fell into it, the universe would not even notice. Now here is the part that should terrify you. Saturn is not unique. Jupiter is the same. Uranus and Neptune are the same. Every gas giant in our solar system has no solid surface. And we have found thousands of exoplanets in other star systems. Many of them are gas giants. Many of them are even larger than Saturn, worlds 2 times, 5 times, 10 times the mass of Jupiter, spinning around distant suns. And not one of them has ground. There are more worlds in the universe with no surface than worlds with one. Step outside tonight and look up. If you know where to look, you can see Saturn with your naked eye. It looks like a star, a small, steady, yellowish point of light that does not twinkle the way stars do. Ancient humans saw it. They named it after a god. They thought it was fixed to a crystal sphere that rotated around the Earth. They had no idea what they were looking at. They did not know they were seeing a gas giant with no ground. They did not know that if you fell into it, you would fall until you stopped being human and started being physics. They did not know that the rings they could not see were made of billions of chunks of ice, each one following its own orbit, held in place by moons that shepherded them like sheepdogs in space. They just saw a light, and they trusted that it was solid. We do that. We trust that things are solid. We trust the ground. We trust the world beneath our feet. We trust that when we step forward, something will be there to stop us. But the universe does not owe us that. Saturn is a reminder that the rules we live by are local. Gravity is universal, but solid ground is not. The idea that a planet must have a surface is something we invented because we live on a planet with a surface. We assumed the universe worked like Earth. We were wrong. Most of the universe is not like Earth. Most of the universe is empty space, or burning plasma, or frozen methane, or clouds of metallic hydrogen compressed into states of matter we can barely simulate in a lab. Most of the universe does not care if you have a place to stand. Most of the universe will kill you in seconds. And yet, here we are, on a rock, with ground, with air we can breathe and water we can drink, and a magnetic field that shields us from radiation, and a moon that stabilizes our tilt, and a star that burns at exactly the right temperature to keep us alive. We are standing on one of the only surfaces in the solar system. One of the few places where falling actually stops. That should mean something. Saturn is out there right now, spinning silently, crushing hydrogen into metal, holding 62 moons in orbit, wearing rings like a crown. It has been doing this for 4.5 billion years. It will keep doing this for billions more. And it does not have ground. It does not need ground. It is complete without us. It is vast and strange and hostile and utterly indifferent to whether or not you understand it. But you do understand it now. You know what it is. You know what would happen if you fell. You know that the ground you are standing on right now is rare, precious, fragile. You know that most worlds do not hold you, but this one does. And when you look up tonight and see that small yellow light hanging in the sky, you will know you are looking at a planet with no bottom, a world where falling never ends, a place where the most basic assumption of your existence, that there is something beneath you, does not apply. You will know that the universe is stranger than we were taught, and you will feel the ground beneath your feet, and you will be grateful it is there.